Good morning. Hello, everybody. Welcome. My name is Chrissy, and today I'm going to be giving you a prediction reading for the 11th of May. I can't believe that everything's just rolling along so quickly. It's just crazy this year. We're nearly into the middle of the year. I'm just going to close my eyes and we'll just get started and see what comes up for the 11th of May. Oh, this is a good one. Ooh, I'm getting that the hurdles have shifted and been moved. Now, this is great because I was talking the other day in my video, for anyone that's watched that one, I was talking about the people who are still waking up. This is not for you watching my video. Well, it is for you watching my video, but it's not about you watching my video. This is about the people who are still waking up. Now, I did talk about them who are having to jump their hurdles, but now they were actually tossing the hurdles and throwing them aside so they have a clearer run. And this is like they're wanting to move the hurdles out of the way, meaning they don't want to jump over any more hurdles or be made to jump through hoops. That kind of analogy is what I'm getting given. But now what I'm seeing is the hurdles are being placed in front of government and parliamentary leaders. Oh, they are having to get over their hurdles. So this is what I said yesterday. We were talking about Canada and how you created that pushback. And it caused the pushback in a lot of countries. And what this has done has made the governments and the parliamentary leaders have to jump over their own hurdles to keep rolling out their agenda. So this is great. So basically, everyone's sort of formed together. We've all picked up the hurdles and we've moved them over in front of the government. So now they're having to jump their hurdles because people aren't being as receptive and they're not just falling into line. Like I said about the soldiers marching yesterday, people aren't just falling into line. People are waking up and they're starting to see the truths. But I am getting that everybody's come together and we've lifted those hurdles and we've all moved them over and we've laid them all out now in front of government and parliamentary leaders. So this is becoming harder for them. And that's the image that the guides are giving me today, is that now they're having to jump over their hurdles to keep rolling their agenda out. So this is great because that means that it's getting harder and harder for them to get the ball rolling with their reset agenda, because they keep getting blockages put in front of them, which are these hurdles that they're having to overcome. And that's great. We wanted things to shift. So I'm definitely getting that image today. So let's hang on to that because I think that's a great thing that they're having to, it's almost like they're having to, I'm kind of getting manipulate the people. So they're having to, it's almost showing me again, they're having to like a detour around these hurdles. So I said that a long time ago with Macron in France, that he wasn't going to react like Trudeau did. He was going to take a different approach. He was going to go around a different way and use a lot softer approach and not be as direct as Trudeau. And look, I think that paid off, and I talked about that maturity. But this is what I'm seeing now, and this is on a global scale. This is in every country, is that they're having to take detours. So, they might not be able to jump over the hurdles that people are now putting in front of them because people are starting to wake up to the BS. So they're going to have to take these softer approaches and make things sound better. And I talked about this the other day, that they're very clever in their language of how they manipulate people's minds. Well, we know that with the mass psychosis, but this is about manipulating, using the wording that everything's going to be better for you if you do this. So I'm definitely getting that we've plonked all the hurdles. Everyone's like come together, picked the hurdles up, and this is including you guys watching the video, and we've all come together with the people waking up and we have plonked them along their path. So they're having to either go up and over the hurdles, or they're going to have to go around them and use a much softer approach and not be so direct. So this is great. This is what we wanted. We wanted them to be held up on their agendas. Oh, there's a beautiful parrot outside. He's so pretty. He's out on the tree. Sorry, I get distracted by birds. I love those. I just love birds and simple things. I know you guys do out there too. You always comment down below and let me know what's happening now. A lot of you are coming into spring. Oh, jealous. But getting back to this, we have to really realize that they are not just having this rolled out smooth and everything's going to plan. It's not going to plan. And I can tell you here in Australia, they're really pushing the booster jab, and people, the uptake is really, really poor because the information's spilling out. People are starting to hear little bits and pieces. People are hesitant, and this is what's causing the hurdles to be put in front of government in that now, is because, you know, this is all about, we've got to remember, this is all about power and money and having control. But when your control is starting to slip, there's not much you can do about it, because it's kind of, you know, it's showing like that rope slipping out of their hands. They don't have that control of the rope. It's starting to slip, and you know how it's starting to burn your hands, and it's starting to leave rope marks, and it's kind of like, it's kind of a harsh energy, that what you thought you had complete control and a handle on, you actually don't. And this is about government. They're losing their grip. Maybe we could say it like that. They're losing their grip on the rollout. That's what we want. Oh, no, that's a great message. I hope the guides are correct in that one. So that's what I'm getting. They're losing that grip on the rollout because of the hurdles that are now being put in front of them. I'll just see what else we get today. I'm getting Belgium. I'm getting France. There's a lot of kickback in these places. People are really wanting to stand up against tyranny in these places. There's a real dynamic that's building and forming. And this could be for surrounding areas there as well. But I do feel like people really want to stand and fight for that cause now. And I'm definitely getting that. I'm getting Belgium, France. For some reason, I'm even getting Munich. I get something about the Munich festival. I don't know if that means anything to you out there. I think in Germany, it's like they want the Munich festival to go ahead. People want that joy. They want their lives back. And we have to, you know, realize that people want this. They want their lives back. They don't want lockdowns and things anymore. They want to start living. We've all started living. I know if you're watching my video, we're living our best lives that we can around all this nonsense. And we've gone back to the simple things that are actually bringing us a lot of joy. And it's great. But this is what I'm getting. I'm getting, you know, these festivals, and people are wanting things to get back now. They don't want to be scared and afraid. And who wants to be living their life like that? Life's very short. People have decided that that's not what they want. They want to get out there and they want to sort of get amongst it and have life experiences again. So that's what I'm definitely getting when I'm getting that Munich festival. And it could be anything around the globe. That's just the example the guides are giving me, that people are wanting gatherings. They're wanting that fun energy. They're wanting good times. They're wanting laughter. They're wanting happiness. That's what I'm getting. And that's the message really that the guides are kind of trying to show us today, is that it's not just us that sort of want these things. If anything, we've probably removed ourselves, actually, I would say, from a lot of that. We've gone back to very simple things. But a lot of these people who are waking up, you have to picture that a lot of them might be younger people who are forced to do a lot of these things. They've missed out on a lot of joy in their young years, and they're wanting to live and live again. And no one can blame them for that. Gosh, if you think back when you were young yourself, all you wanted to do was party, go out with your friends and have fun. And oh my goodness, I couldn't even physically do that now. But that's what I'm definitely getting. People are wanting to have those really group. I mean, I know in Australia here we've started having a few more music festivals and things like that. So that's positive for the young ones, because I think mental health, as we know, is really on the rise in young people too. So I'm definitely getting that today. I'll see what else we get. Oh, no. I'm getting that the kickbacks with the leaders and people who have been implementing the agenda are huge. And I think we don't even know the enormity of it, to be quite honest. In Australia here, we've had a lot of people who have currently like walked away from government. And I always question, wow, have they received their big payout? And they're just moving on now? Because these were the people who were very, very aggressive during the push for the jabs. There's one guy in the Northern Territory here, I think it's Michael Gunner. Anyway, he's just resigned, and he was highly aggressive. He just had another baby, but he was highly aggressive, and he was so angry at the unvaccinated, and he was always attacking on the news, saying how we're completely selfish and it's their fault that this virus is continuing to spread. And his anger, like, he was so angry that it made you think there had to be more to it. Like, you know, he had deadlines, or what was it that he was so aggressive about? So he's just resigned. On a positive note, he resigned, like in a nice farewell speech and everything. And we also had another guy here resign, Greg Hunt, and he was a global leader with the reset agenda, and he's just resigned. I'm not sure if he's still doing something in the background with Parliament, but, you know, you kind of got to wonder, like, has there been big payments? They've pushed what the narrative, achieved their goals, and have they moved on? And I'm sure in your countries, these are things that you're starting to question too. Like, this seems to be coming more and more about the monetary gain and the power. I don't think, if you're watching my video, we've always known that anyway. But for these people waking up, they're just starting to question and see these things. So, you know, you might be new to my channel and be trying to work all this out. And this is what's kind of going on. The guys are saying that the money involved in these narratives are huge, like beyond, they're saying they're beyond what we could even fathom or even imagine. And I think we know that. Gosh, we only have to look at the amount of money that's been pouring into Big Pharma and all the industries, and who's been taking home their pay packets. And now the cost of living is destroying people again. So again, we've got this continuous pattern of destroying people's lives. Of course, the middle class and lower class, not the elites and those in power, they're still implementing the things that are going to destroy people's lives. And if they get that credit scoring system, that's going to be a big shock for people, because people have no idea that that's coming. I know you guys do, but can you imagine going to buy something and being told, no, you're not allowed to have that because you haven't earned that? Like, what gives someone the right to direct your life? I mean, how do these people get that power? That's the question mark I always ask, and I know you guys would too. Like, who put Klaus Schwab in charge and who put Bill Gates in charge? Bill Gates is a computer guy. Just because he owns everything, he thinks he's become this big health expert. And now he's talking about bringing out another vaccine that will be only a one jab. Like, wasn't that what they promised in the first place? Like, and now they're admitting virtually that didn't work. But no apologies to all of us or those that have been vilified or the people he's destroyed their lives, or no, nothing like that. We'll just move on and create more new jabs. So obviously this is going to go into the future for a very long time. So this is kind of what we're getting. Like, who put these people in charge? And I think that's the big question that other people are starting to ask now. Not just us. We've asked that for a couple of years. But other people are asking those questions. Like, who put you in charge? And that's pretty much, that's why people are putting more thought into their voting process. Even though sometimes, I know in America, you over there, sometimes things feel a little rigged, as in they focus, you know, as we know on the platforms, and direct your thoughts onto certain things because they can pretty much read all about you and what you're interested in and what you are wanting in your life. They can pretty much tell everything about you now already. But this is why people are focusing more on the vote. And if you're living here in Australia, we go to the vote, I think, next weekend. you really have to get independence. We have to get independence into Parliament, or we are ready to roll out the big agenda. They will roll it out. I think pretty much if it's Labor or Liberal here, it won't matter. Hopefully in Ireland there's a few changes, and that might start to create a little bit of movement around the globe. Fingers crossed for you guys out there. But that's what I'm definitely getting. People are wanting to get their votes right because they know where this is headed. I think in Victoria here, Dan Andrews, I think there's a vote in November. Let's hope to God it's not rigged and that you actually do get to have your say with these corrupt bloody people who are running our states and countries. So I'm definitely getting that. There's a lot of questions now. How, you know, even with him, there's a lot of corruption around him, who was the most locked down city, remember, in the world. There's a lot of corruption allegations coming out, but he's not answering to anything, but all his sort of people beneath him. One person I even heard had suicided because they got attacked and like vilified about certain things, but of course he got off scot-free. So this is the stuff that people are seeing, and they're questioning those things. I'm sure this is happening wherever you are globally. This is on a global scale. There's a lot of that corruption in government, and we know that because they're wanting to push their agenda. And when people, like I said, get their sort of payout and disappear, well, I can't guarantee they definitely got their payout, but there's a high probability something happened because all of a sudden they've like gone and retired and they're not that old. It's like they've done their job, wipe their hands of it, and off they go. And I'm sure this is happening wherever you guys are as well, except for the main leaders who love the power. So they're going to always stick around. I'll just see what else we get today. God, they're saying to me that these people of power are criminally insane. It's sort of saying they've got those minds like of a criminal. They're like masterminds at their plans. And they're showing me, it's almost like they're showing me that kind of underground, like the underbelly. So you've almost got these hidden, well, I guess you could kind of relate it to like mafia. But it's like that kind of image where it's kind of the unspoken, but it's all kind of that hidden underground, you know, how they go down into their hidden and they have their illegal card games, and that's kind of the image that they're giving me. But this is around Parliament. There's a lot of, I do believe there's a lot of illegal activity going on, which I think we all know that. But there's definitely this kind of elite group. And if you think of anything like the mafia, for example, this is just an example, but this is around government and parliamentary leaders, they almost become untouchable. So when you think of, there's even a show I think called The Untouchables. So this is what I'm kind of getting today, is these people appear to be untouchable. And when you think about it, we've got the, you know, Fauci, Bill Gates, you know, all seem to be protected but still up on their pedestal, never being held accountable. It's this untouchable kind of energy where they're kind of protected. And I do believe they are. I mean, we look at, you know, Bill Gates owns everything, so he's going to always prop himself up. But you got BlackRock, Vanguard, we've got all these other, corporate people who are also propping these people up because they've sort of put them out as their, it's not really that they're puppets, but they're kind of in the background controlling the strings of this whole puppet show. And these are the head sort of people out the front that are having their voices and doing like all the talking. But it's all coming from the background. So this is why I'm getting that sort of movie, The Untouchables, which I think is about mafia, isn't it? But I'm getting that sort of mafia where they're all like protected, but there's all this underground underbelly of like corruption. It's very hidden and it's huge. And that could be even getting back to, like I said, about the a few videos ago I talked about the iceberg analogy, where you have the little part of the iceberg on the top, and under the water there's this whole big iceberg that people can't see. And that's what I'm definitely getting today about the corruption and the government and what's going on, like underneath the surface, for example, of the water, but it's underneath the surface. So there's a lot going on under there. There's a lot of, you could think about, there's a lot of exchanging of money. When you think of like laundering or the envelopes passing hands, there's a lot of this sort of topping up in the system. And obviously not on a very sort of, I wouldn't think, legal level. I mean, a certain amount seems to get disclosed because we know who's making all the billions and billions and beyond billions of dollars here, and it ain't us. So I'm definitely getting that that's very well hidden, very well protected, and it's like no one's ever sort of held accountable. And I think that's the frustrating part of all this, and that's what's causing people to wake up, is they're starting to see that, well, why is no one being held accountable? No one seems to be. It's like there's nobody. And I know for anyone who's got injuries out there, I know that there's people out there who are injured or who've lost their jobs, who can't support their families, who are going under with the housing costs going up and the price of living. But no one's held accountable. Like, who do you go to for help? Like, there's no one. We know we can't trust government anymore. So this is why, and this is the importance that I always talk about, is finding that support and being around people who are going to help you to feel stronger, because it's a global movement now that's growing. It's not some little I always say it, fringe minority group according to Trudeau. This is not. This is a global movement that is reacting to the things that are being thrown at them. It's almost like they're showing me someone shooting an arrow at someone, but that person catches it. And then that gives them that ability to kind of throw it back. Not that they have, but people are catching the information. I talked about the catcher's mitt the other day as well. People are catching that information, and they're not going to be hit with these things anymore, because it's just taking too much of a toll on their lives and their way of living. And it's every avenue now. If you think about it, it is every avenue of people's lives is being totally disrupted. And we've got the elite tower over here, as usual, and they're still living in their big penthouse mansions, and their life's going on as normal. Nothing being affected there, because of course it doesn't affect them, as long as they're being fed their constant flow of money, power, wealth, and all these kind of things. That's sort of their fuel. But like I said the other day, that the tower is starting to crumble, and they're having to prop that up. But again, it gets back to those hurdles being put in front of them, and they're having to kind of softly work their way around sort of the obstacles put in front of them now. Like I said, even with Dan Andrews down in Victoria, there's a lot of things about corruption around him, and somehow he's managed to avoid all this. But I don't know, I'm fingers crossed some of these corrupt politicians and things start to get a bit of a surprise, because I do believe that they have kind of what's coming to them. You can't you cannot be that selfish and that disrespectful to people without it coming back on you. It's almost like, to me, they're laying out their own fate. And that's kind of the image I'm getting. I'm actually getting, like, it's kind of strange. I'm getting, I hope no one has issues with this, but I'm getting like this voodoo doll. And it's like, what these parliamentary leaders and these people in charge of government and that don't realise is that they're like the voodoo doll. So whatever they're implementing onto people is going to come back and affect them as well. And, it's like if you put a pin in a voodoo doll, you start to get pain as well. Now, if that doll represents you. So basically what they're saying here, the guides, is that voodoo doll represents that they're still a human and a person, and these things are going to affect them. They might not see it now, but it is going to eventually affect them, because there's going to be backlash. There's going to be things that come out. Like I said, there's a lot of long-term effects coming out now from these jabs, and people were made to get a trial, I won't say it, jab, And now some of these side effects are coming out. You know, we don't even know long term what are these things doing. Like I said here, a lot of people are coughing. Their immune systems are starting to drop. They're shaky. Shingles is on the rise. Hepatitis in children is on the rise. There's things that are coming out now. And this is why they're showing me that voodoo doll, because things are starting to come back at these people who have been implementing and virtually torturing people themselves. Well, I do believe that's what's going to start happening. Mind you, they have been using people for pin cushions and putting pins in them anyway. We might as well relate it to that. Maybe that's what the guides are saying. But this is starting to take a turn, and people are looking at that person now as the visual of the voodoo doll. And look, I'm not saying people are mean and they're implementing that intentionally to hurt somebody. We know that government and parliamentary leaders did. But this is why they're showing me the voodoo doll of these people, because it's like suddenly everything's going to turn and it's all going to catch up with them, you know. They've treated people like pincushions, literally, and now it's going to be their turn to be sort of, to have the effects now put on them. So I'm going to leave you with that today. I'm sure you all know how a voodoo doll works. It has an interesting, it's an interesting concept, isn't it? But people are tired of being the voodoo doll, and now they're looking at their leaders and they're sort of either wanting them out of parliament and government and voting them out, or they're just going to start getting things catching up with them. And this could be around corruption and lies. I really believe that. I mean, gosh, look at Trudeau. I think his voodoo doll's going to have a lot of things coming at it as well, because, man, he has really affected some people's lives over there. And look, this is globally. This is everybody. Everybody's gone through very similar experiences. So I'm going to leave you with the visual of the voodoo doll today, that's representing now our government leaders and parliamentarians, and that they've created this themselves. And it's almost like they're having the effect now on the voodoo doll because of what they've done in the past. It's now that karma, and I know a lot of you guys out there, when you comment down below, talk to me about karma and things like that catching up with people. Well, that's why I'm getting that image of the voodoo doll now, because I do believe that's the crumbling and that things are starting to catch up. Fingers crossed, it has to, doesn't it? Anyway, I'll say goodbye for today. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and I'll say goodbye from Australia. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Hit the bell notification so you know when I pop up. Hit the like buttons. And for anyone new, I do have tons of self-help videos that can help you if you're feeling a bit lonely, anxious, overwhelmed in life, which a lot of us can. And take care, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you very soon. Bye, everybody. Bye.